Welcome, dear viewers, to The Prominent One, where we are going to know more about our guests, especially when it comes into great women that made a great impact in their career, and I'm very sure everyone is really eager to know more about. But before we begin, let me welcome with me my co-host, Amal. Amal, how are you?
I'm really great, as long as I can see that wonderful smile, Hiba, and also joining our viewers in The Prominent Ones. And you know something, behind each wonderful prominent lady, there is a big story to be told, and that story gives us inspiration for all of us to move forward and check those new, let's say, roads we can tackle. And how about now we take a quick break, then get back with our guest.
Welcome back, dear viewers. To know more about our guest, we're going to present her through our episode. She is a comic and manga publisher. With us, we'd like to welcome Hessa. We're really happy to have you here.
I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hessa, it is wonderful to have you here in The Prominent Ones, and we always say the prominent ones always have their own story to be told. And here we are hearing the stories of the prominent ones to give us inspiration, especially with the viewers that we tell us the story behind Hessa and the manga.
Oh, so my name is Alqaoud, as she introduced. I started reading manga when I was like very little.
Yes.
I think I was in my teen years. But first I started reading comics. That's what got me into the
Manga?
No,
the one that has Marvels and everything in it, or it's only Japanese manga?
No, it was Disney. It was a Disney comic, and it was in Arabic.
Okay.
But it helped me like better my Arabic reading because I'm dyslexic.
Yes.
So that's how it all started. That's why I.
Really amazing.
Yeah.
So, you know, behind every, let's say, a great success, there's always a hidden story. I mean, talking more about being dyslexic, I remember the time, because I was a transfer student from English English private school to Arabic government school. So the thing is, I asked my teacher, it was a dictation class, should I write it from right or to left? And she thought I was joking. And then I immediately was shocked, and I wrote my Arabic from left to right. And then I was dyslexic from that moment, and then let's say all with the help of everyone, I started to, let's say, understand more that Arabic's on the right and English is on the left, and then I recovered.
Yeah.
So having that said, I mean, these kind of incidents do actually happen, but it helps you to become better, to become stronger, and to achieve great success.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Because people didn't believe that I was dyslexic at first, because they're like, you're too smart. You can't be dyslexic.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
I mean, I understand what's smart.
It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I understand what's smart, but he was dyslexic. Like everything was written upside down. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with it. So, when it came to Arabic reading, especially, they're just like, oh, just read, because that's how you're gonna fix it.
Yes.
But reading like small sentences in like small bubbles, that helped, because it wasn't like a large text that you get lost in.
And you felt more safer, I'm very sure, when you're reading it, like it's all there, like everything is set within a certain,
yes, and there is context
image.
with the images.
Yes. So it helped,
interpreted that this is with this one. So this was the let's say the stone that started you towards the road of manga.
Exactly. So I was really grateful for manga. Like it helped me a lot. Like comics in general.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to like kind of give back in a way. That's why I started like the company and made it like specially for manga and comics.
This is really a great attribute, to give back, because it helped you. You want to help others.
Exactly, I wanted to help others.
Yeah. And I mean, reading manga is really interesting because it takes you to a different world, different dimension, where you actually just go dive into your own thoughts. And having that said, is something very beautiful. And we do have this, let's say, kind of rising youth that are really into it. Like comparing between back in the days and nowadays, there is a big, let's say, a huge amount of teens and even adults are aware about
Exactly.
such comics, and it's thriving in that
Yeah,
sense.
awareness is key. That's one of the struggles at first.
Yes.
People weren't aware. They thought it was only for kids.
Yes.
So raising awareness, like having people understand that it's not only for kids, and a lot of movies are actually based on
Indeed.
mangas,
Adaptation from mangas and
exactly,
everything
and
that's
comics
inside.
as well. So
Yeah.
that's like helped.
Yes.
Definitely.
So, who supported you in that decision, Hessa?
My parents were like open to it, which I was grateful for. Like whatever I wanted to do, they're like, you
Go
just,
for it.
Yeah, just do you. And my brother was like very supportive. Like
Okay.
whatever problem I faced or anything, I would always go and consult him, and he was always there.
So
Oh,
this is
amazing.
amazing because
Yes.
if we can say like a publishing company in manga here in Kuwait and a lady of all kinds managing to make a publishing company in that's something if we can say difficult, it's not easy.
Yeah, it is. It is difficult. It wasn't easy at all.
So I'm very sure you had lots of ups and downs during, let's say, opening
Definitely,
the company.
always. Like you
Yeah.
always have the ups and downs, but the challenges is what makes it more, I guess, fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
I really do. I
Nice,
really do
nice.
believe because after having and facing a lot of obstacles, and then you succeed in the end. This is where
And
it
you
really
learn
shows.
like a lot. You learn so much from the obstacle you faced rather than just going like studying it and doing it.
Right. It's like you live in the field, you live the moment, and then you really cherish it.
Exactly.
Yes. So having that said, maybe you'd like to share with us some of the moments that you lived with the obstacles and ups and downs in the career.
Oh, most of the obstacles, like I've said, like raising awareness. Like
Okay.
a lot of people would go like, "Oh, this is for kids," and you have to like actually tell them and show them that it's not
Yes.
really for kids. That's one thing, and the other struggles was establishing the company, making it official.
Lots of paperwork, I'm very sure.
Yes, crazy amount of paperwork, and it was all in Arabic, which I still struggled with at the time. But I'm grateful that I actually did everything myself because it helped me with my Arabic as well. Like
Okay.
I can
Yes.
I can speak better, I can like communicate better, I can understand better, which is
Which is something more of a
Yeah.
bonus that
Yes,
was added to.
it was really good for me.
So instead of like making a bookstore, you made a publishing company.
Yes.
Why a publishing company, Hessa?
One reason is because I wanted to give back.
Yes.
The other reason is I saw a lot of talents in Kuwait,
Okay.
and one of them was a friend of mine. She is actually the reason why it's all happened.
Okay.
Because I saw her work and I'm like, this is like incredible. It can't just stay the way it is.
Yes.
It has to be published and like recognized. And that's how we started. Her name was Fatma Saad.
Yes.
Yeah, and her manga is called Lost Nicholas.
Wow.
Yeah.
So from because you saw Fatma, because I know there are, let's say, how many manga publishing houses here in Kuwait, if you can say companies?
There are a lot of publishing houses here in
But
Kuwait.
for manga,
For manga specifically, there isn't any.
there
That-
isn't any. So
yeah,
your
that's why I started.
company is the only company, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So this takes us to, because there are a lot of publishing companies,
Yes.
but not specifically in manga.
Yes.
How is the let's say the market with you?
Yes, we had to establish the market because there wasn't a market at
Yes.
the time. Like we didn't know how to get it to people to like sell it and stuff. So I ended up making a store to in order to sell
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm grateful for one of my friends. She had a store in I think Rihab,
Yes.
and we had like
Yes,
we were
the way
selling
the
it.
access
Yes,
for,
yes,
let's
yes,
say,
exactly.
people to see
So
and
you made a
purchase.
market for yourself.
Yeah,
Very
we had to
interesting.
create it for ourselves.
Yes.
Because there wasn't any.
Yeah, I do believe it's a lot of work, a lot of energy, lots of thinking that actually happened in the meeting rooms and different kind of, let's say, category that you've been through. But when it comes into dealing with manga, we'd like to take you back a little bit towards, let's say, the first manga book that you maybe bought or read. Now, you said you read comics when it comes into Disney, but the first official manga that was really attached to you and you enjoyed, let's say, reading?
The first manga I ever read was called The Wallflower. That's when I discovered that, oh, there are manga. I think it was a romance type of a story. It was really nice. Like the main character was really interesting. That's like the first.
Like this is where it actually all stars, where you actually see a character in the manga that really attracts your attention, and then just follow the character all through the story.
And it was like a really funny story. So there was like. I guess layers to it. It wasn't like a straightforward type of story.
Wow, that's really interesting.
So as a viewer, like hearing about manga, and they know that, okay, it's like a comic book. It's like every story has an ending to it. Or does it has a sequence and it's different?
So the difference between comics and manga, manga are always
sequences?
Sequential?
Yes. Has sequences in it.
Has sequences in it. So you have like volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and you
so
can follow it easily.
So it's a whole story.
It's a whole story, and there are volumes to it. However, in comics, they did start to make it this way, like certain companies.
Yes.
But generally speaking, if you're talking about DC, Marvel, and things like that.
Disney and all of that, yes.
No, Disney do have sequences, but Marvel and DC, they don't have sequences.
They have different, let's say,
different universes,
of what could actually
and
happen.
depends on the writer. So you have, like Batman, for example, there are so many different writers, and each writer has their own storyline with their stories. So they're like always different.
Even when it comes into the adaptation of movies, you can see that there are different stories that's being presented due to the adaptation itself. So I'm very sure everyone is really excited when it comes into such an interview and topic. But dear viewers, we're going to head to a break and then we'll continue with our guests.
And we're back with you again, dear viewers, with our guest in the prominent ones, Hessa Alqaoud. She has her own comic and manga publishing company, and we want to talk more about the publishing company, Hessa, because you have started it in how many years now?
From 2016 until now, so I guess 8 years.
Around 8 years. It has been.
It has been a while.
It's let's say now you have a history in that company. So have you participated in exhibition, book exhibition in Kuwait?
Yes, we've been to like pop culture exhibitions here in Kuwait.
Yes.
And also like when it comes to like university type of exhibition.
Yes.
So I participated in those too. Also, we did in Dubai, we did in Abu Dhabi, we did in Indonesia. So we tried to like expand.
That's interesting. Going from Kuwait to, let's say, the GCC and then to the world in Indonesia.
So when it comes into dealing with writers, like have you been associated within, let's say, the 8 years with different kind of writers who are really eager into writing about comics and wanting their books to be published?
Yeah, definitely. There are so many writers and so many artists as well. Sometimes there are artists who are not very familiar with the writing, so they would come and like ask for like writers and stuff, and the writers that want to like make comics but like they don't know how to draw, they would like come and ask for
an artist
and vice versa. So
it's a win-win situation, let's say.
Exactly. We've helped them like find each other and like
that's good, a collaboration in
between. And start making stories.
So, Hiba, this is the prominent ones, and we are asking a prominent woman that has her own publishing company. But I want to ask also about the writers. You said the first writer with you is your friend, and she's also one of the ladies that really did manga. So, how about the two genders? which do you think in your company is more? Is it female or males?
It's more females than males.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is interesting that female manga writers, illustrators as well are more, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's really interesting. And you know why? Because I do believe that they're more, let's say, courage in order for them to get in the field, because it's not really easy.
And they're extremely talented. Like, if you see their work, you would think it's like from outside. You wouldn't think that.
You won't believe that's made in Kuwait
believe.
and it's
Definitely.
local, let's say. Because, you know, again, having a woman, let's say, being talented and having that courage in order for them to just express by writing and having a great responsibility, because in the end, you're not just writing for fun, but you have different generation, different people that are going to read, and especially when it comes into manga comics and manga books, the audience get really attached to the character, and if it's really successful, they will immediately ask and demand for another sequel, another let's say incidents, or even when, for God forbid, one of the characters dies in the end, we recommend the writer to rewrite another ending. So this actually happen when it comes into the field itself, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's true. That happens.
Yeah, so as Hiba was telling that a lot of really people, or let's say fans of manga, when they like a character, they want more of that character. Have you thought also of expanding the mangas that you have into cartoons?
Yes, we've been actually giving like cartoon animation classes.
Yes.
But before that, we did something called what is it called? A motion comic.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like an animated comic. So you can hear the characters talk.
Oh.
And it gives like a very different experience than you reading the story.
Indeed.
And it's animated.
You
they
can
actually
see
move.
them.
Yeah,
Okay.
they move and you can hear them. So that was like a different type of experience. That was a really fun project to work on. And then yeah, we're giving like animation classes, teaching people how to animate and things like that. So in the future we can produce an animation, hopefully.
So it's an anime, or we can say it, right? It's
an animation, like similar to actually any type. Because like there are different styles, but animation in general.
Yes. So I'm very sure that it's going to attract a lot of audience, especially that when it comes into animation, who wouldn't just enjoy watching their own, let's say, character being alive and being there and presenting the great story that everyone, of course, enjoyed. I mean, we grew up looking, and back in the days when we were really young, especially we're talking more about characters that we've been used to see. We always grew up having that character as an idol in our life. For instance, when it comes into different roles, like for me it was the Little Mermaid, because I really did enjoy how strong she was and how, let's say, stubborn in a way that she, if she wanted to accomplish her dream, she actually did accomplish it in a way. So when it comes into even manga and animated characters, we do feel that kind of, let's say, connection within a character, and we could be very loyal to it and continue to grow up living with the character itself, imitating it, having, let's say, maybe certain colors that's related to it. So have you been associated with that kind of, let's say, memories or scene when it comes into being connected to your character?
Definitely, but I think because I've watched so many anime and so many animations in general, like not just anime, also like American cartoons and everything, I don't have like this one specific character. Okay. Like I have so many, because like I've watched.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, but I think I've learned a lot from different characters, and I appreciate what I've learned from each character that like I've seen.
Yes.
One of like the most memorable characters that I really liked and I thought was really fun was from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Aang, the main character.
Yes.
It's his journey was like incredible.
Right.
The way he grew, the way he faced his challenges, the way he made peace in the world that he was in.
Yes.
It was an incredible story. So feel like each story tells like a different thing.
Yes.
Same goes like with anime. If you see like One Piece, for example, Luffy, his journey.
Yes.
Still hasn't ended.
And I mean,
but,
it
like,
really
yes.
affects a
Yeah,
lot of
you saw.
generation. Like the really beauty of it, Emil, is that it connects the let's say 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s
That's
together.
true,
Like
yes.
there are different generations that we're talking about that being
Yes.
connected in watching one anime and so far.
That is so true. And speaking about that, who is really the audience of your books or the publications that you do?
Manga fans. If you like manga, you're gonna like the books, especially shonen, because most of the genres that we're publishing are shonen.
Yes.
So they're like for teenagers. They're not for like kids or not for
Adults.
No, adults are okay. They can read it as well.
Okay, but the kids from like what ages?
like let's say 16 or
16 and above.
16 plus,
Yeah,
15,
16 plus. So, so these are the mass audience that
yeah,
you
that's
can
the audience. That's the
of
target
the
audience.
publications that you have.
Yeah.
Well, I really like to look at all those illustrations, and I bet that when we go back, as Hiba said, the early days of comics, the illustrations have progressed so much nowadays. It's really like lifelike, if we can say. It's almost lifelike. They have those features, they have their own characters, they have all the things that it's different than we can say Mickey and Donald at that time. It's really the cartoons.
Even them
It's
changed
yeah,
nowadays.
even them change. Even Mickey and Donald have changed nowadays.
But actually, like the old
Yes.
animation was really incredible. If you
Right.
see it from an animation point of view,
Okay.
it was really incredible. There's a lot of movements in it. The old Mickey and
Yes.
like
Yes.
even Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
It had like a lot of movement. Anime does not have a lot of movement, but it
Okay.
has story. So
Okay.
a lot of it are still images.
Yeah.
But you see the progress, you see the change in anime. Because before it was a lot of still images. Nowadays you see the actual animation, like Demon Slayer and
Yes.
what's it called? Dragon Ball Super.
Yes.
Not Dragon Ball Z. And you're gonna see the difference clearly.
Between
Dragon Ball.
both, yes.
Yeah, when you see the old one and you see the new one, it's incredibly.
What I really
Yeah.
believe about anime and mangas is that they're not only full of action, let's say movements, but they're full with feelings.
Feelings,
Yeah, like you
definitely.
see immediately from the drawing of the character that they're shy, they're embarrassed, they're angry, and so on. So I feel like it's more feelings than only focusing about actions itself.
Exactly, and the stories are really, really deep. Like, for example, A Silent Voice. I don't know if it's on Netflix.
Yes.
Yes.
It's an incredible story. Like, I don't think you can watch this movie and not cry while
Okay.
watching it. It's like,
Same.
Touches you.
Yes, like
Definitely,
anime do make you
definitely.
cry.
yeah.
But it can, yeah, it can. Not just anime, any
Yes.
kind of an animation.
When it's a
pictures
good
and
story, it's a good
Indeed,
story.
once in a good story,
Yeah.
it's a good story. So
Yeah.
speaking about good stories, so I'm very sure that even when it comes into the audience, if a person, especially if we're talking more about, let's say, a writer, they're really into wanting to publish their own, let's say, comics and wanting to create something very new. When it comes into coming to the publishing company, like are there any kind of rule or restrictions when it comes into, let's say, applying? Like how do you validate that this book is worth, let's say, publishing, or is it, let's say, giving it more of a chance in order for it to progress?
Well, at first we would read it, and then we would like sit and discuss like the story itself, and it has to match the rules of like here publication in Kuwait.
Yes,
and
it,
then
it has to go through the rules and restrictions. that
exactly.
matter.
Yes.
And then we decide like whether to publish it or not. Yeah,
Hessa,
that's
have you tried writing?
yes.
Tell us more about that, because I know you are not just a publisher.
I edit more than I write.
Okay.
So I would like read the story and then I would give like advice, like maybe go this direction, that
Yes,
direction,
and edit.
things like
Okay,
that.
and-
More editing.
Than a writer.
I did write, but like it's private. It's not something
it's
that
not
I
for
published.
publication.
Yeah.
Well, I think we would hope soon enough that we would read something from Hessa's writings.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So, Hiba, I think wherever you go, what age you are, there's always something that you would love in a manga or a comic.
Yes, indeed, I couldn't agree with you more on that. With that, dear viewers, we're going to continue our focus when it comes into our episode, but we're going to head to a break and then we'll be back.
And we're back with you again, dear viewers, in the Prominent Ones. And a great thanks to you, Ms. Hessa Alqaoud, for being here with us, giving us a glimpse of a story that you went through and a prominent company, as we can say.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was really a pleasure having you here, and I'm very sure even when it comes into our audience, we did enjoy hearing and of course listening to our guests and knowing more about her journey. And I'm very sure we've learned a lot, and hopefully you did got inspired. And with that, dear viewers, we're towards the end. Hopefully you'll see you in different new episodes.